It's now about 15 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. I'm Kimberly D'Souza. Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. Now, some leading experts are hosting a panel on schooling during Omicron to answer some of the concerns educators and others may have about the COVID-19 virus and school. And so with me to talk more about the town hall meeting is the event coordinator, Mrs. Deborah Maillard. Ms. Maillard, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Good morning to all the viewers.
Now, Ms. Maillard, schooling during Omicron is a very interesting topic. I was just wondering, why now?
Okay, so the government, in its wisdom, chose to open schools now after what was probably the longest, not probably, it was the longest shutdown of schools anywhere in the world. So Trinidad and Tobago schools were closed for longer than any other countries in the world. And the fact that they chose to open it at this time means that they must have some level of confidence with the particular variant and its impact on children. So what happened with the opening of schools was a lot of confusion. Well, as you would know, if schools have been closed for over 2 years or just about 2 years, there's going to be a lot needed to get ready, and perhaps there could be more messaging, more guidelines to administrators, educators on how to proceed, because of course we expect that there will be children getting infected with Omicron variant of COVID-19. So that is to be expected. And what we saw last week was someone from a denominational school essentially throwing his hands up in the air and saying, "Government, help us, tell us what to do." And the thing about it is that the government can't do everything. So this group of 4 doctors, 3 are medical physicians or medical practitioners, and 1 is a PhD lecturer at UE, got together and said, okay, let's try and clear the air for parents and educators, because of course the educators are smack dab in the middle. They have the Ministry of Education on top of them, and they have the parents on the other side, wanting answers. So one person is telling them what to do, and the other person is telling them what to do. So they're stuck in the middle, and we're trying to provide a path forward for them. Because
Nice.
When you drop your kid off to school, essentially it's the educator has the responsibility, who's in charge, who's got to know what to do in the event of anything. And this is the person we will want to blame. We don't commend them as we should for all that they do, but we always blame them first. And this is what it is. It's an interactive 2-hour session with educators and medical practitioners, some of whom I should say are on the front lines of COVID treatment. So they've seen it all. They've seen it all over the last 2 years. We have Dr. Bratt, as you know, a well-known pediatrician in Trinidad and Tobago, and he's heading the panel. So this is about allaying the fears of educators and giving them guidelines, guidance as to what to expect, what would happen to the children, and to keep the panic and the fear at a low. Because what we don't need is our schools to be closed again. Absolutely not. We can't have this, right?
Now, Ms. Maillard,
and it's not going to take...
Now, when is the event taking place? Because I think you mentioned it's a 2-hour session.
2-hour interactive session on Zoom. This is on Wednesday, May 4th, so that's tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. And you can get the Zoom link by writing us at info@ctag.org, or you can call us. I'm going to have the phone number. I never have the phone number right at my fingertips, but I can get it for you right now. So if you're an educator, if you're part of the education sector, whether that's public sector education or education that's private schools, we want you to be a part of this, because invariably you're going to face the same challenges and see the same things happening in your school. So
Right.
It's all quite similar, what we expect people will see, and we want to help them. Because, I mean, it was distressing to see that member of a denominational school. I'm not sure if it was with the board, but definitely was with a particular denominational school. And it was like he threw his hands up in exasperation. I don't know. What will we do? What will we do? Well, we can't shut down schools again. We absolutely can't. That's not an option. And really and truly, I think that attendees tomorrow night will get some real guidance forward.
Now, Ms.
And
Millard, in terms of the topics to be discussed, however, what can attendees look forward to?
well, I think the most important thing is the presenters are going to present their various topics, okay? And these are topics that we feel would be of interest. So, for instance, if you looked at our flyer, you would see Omicron in adults and children, and this is to discuss the difference in how Omicron reacts in adults and children, and the difference in this particular variant in adults and children. Um, Home treatment, antigen testing, and quarantine. So, what uh, educators would learn is how to spot it quickly, to get rapid antigen testing. If that turns out to be positive, quick quarantine for a quick return to school. Because you see, um, Omicron has 1/10 of the death rate of Delta. And we can expect that universally, the vast majority of children will recover from Omicron. So all of this panic and fear, and it's really deterring us from getting back to what's important, which is our children's education. And after 2 years, I can't tell you how much catching up we have to do. I mean, there are children who would have been ready to enter school, were 5 years old 2 years ago, and they are now 7, going into standard 1. Uh, this is their first school experience. So we have a lot of catching up to do, and we certainly cannot let the Omicron variant keep us back. If it is that COVID-19 is endemic, yeah, we've got to learn to live with it. And it's like I was listening to your previous conversation on swimming. It was only your last caller who said, it is the children who must learn to swim. It is we who must adapt. Okay, we cannot expect the education system to adapt first. The education system will adapt as much as it can. But we must adapt. And we've got to help educators with that primarily. We'll talk to parents afterwards, but we want to talk to educators because they have the children for a significant part of the day. I mean, it's 24 hours in a day, okay? So essentially, 8 hours you're sleeping. 8 hours of that 8 hours, 4 hours you're getting to and from school, and the other 8 hours, more or less, your teachers have you. So
Now,
the
Ms.
teachers
Millard,
have.
now, Ms. Millard, I know you would have mentioned one of the speakers. Can you just share with us some of the other speakers? So maybe somebody who's listening and they want to
Sure.
join tomorrow, can
Yeah.
you just share who they can look forward to?
Yes, they can listen. Let's look forward to Dr. David Brad, senior pediatrician and a newspaper columnist. Also to Dr. Wayne Lavastide. He is a lecturer in immunology. To Dr. David Strisova, and he is a senior family physician. And to Dr. Rajiv Siriram, who is a frontline COVID public health physician. And
Nice.
those are, and if we're lucky, we will have a child and adolescent psychiatrist with us.
Now, we only have a couple minutes left, Ms. Mila, but I just wanted to pick your brain a bit. I realized that you're doing a town hall meeting as opposed to, let's say, a conference or a seminar. What was the reason for this?
Because we want the educators to be able to ask questions. It's about interaction. We are coming to bring clarity to educators. So in order to do this, we must allow them to ask questions. And that is really the focus. Yes, the presenters will say what they have to say and inform and impart knowledge, share knowledge. But the main thing is to have the educators throw questions at the presenters, say, okay, this is the problem, this is what I'm seeing, what can I do, any advice, etc. What should I do? Yeah, so it's really about the educators being able to ask questions and get answers.
And Ms. Millard, finally, where can people get more info about the event? How can they sign up if they want to attend tomorrow?
Okay, so it's a Zoom meeting. Excuse me. All they're going to need really is the Zoom ID, and that's on our website. All right. So if you go to ctag.org, that's CTAG right? And CTAG stands for COVID-19 Transparency Advocacy Group Trinidad and Tobago. We are we are providing a platform for the meeting. And they can go to our website, ctag.org. There they will find the Zoom link for tomorrow night's town hall. And or they can write us info@ctag.org and we'll send out the link to them. Or they can call us, and I got the number finally. It's 489-2569. That's 489-2569. And they can give us their number and we can WhatsApp out the link to them. Okay, so we have capacity, but it's actually filling quite rapidly. We have people trying to sign on all now, and the event is not until tomorrow night. So
no,
we
Ms. Mila.
hope that we have a 500 capacity and it's filling up fast. So, yeah.
Now, Ms. Millard, finally, we have about 30 seconds left. It is targeted to educators, but parents can also join, yes?
Well, yes. I mean, we're not going to stop parents from joining, but we're asking, well, we'll see. Primarily, we'd like educators on. Right. As I said, we plan to do another town hall with parents, right? But we feel that if we go to the educators first, they can impart the knowledge to the parents. They can set policy for their own schools. And that's what's important at the beginning, right? And I mean, if parents are dropping off their kids and trusting their kids with these educators for, 1/3 of the day, surely they would trust the educators to know what should be done in schools to protect their children, to keep their children as safe as possible. And so we feel that the educators, and when we say educators, it's not only teachers, it's school supervisors, principals, any type of school administrator, whether private school or public school, whether you run a daycare, etc. This is for you. This is for you. Okay, nice. So if we start at the top, then it will trickle down.
Ms. Mila, thank you so much for joining us on the Now Morning Show and sharing the information about schooling during Omicron, the town hall meeting, which is taking place tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kimberly, and thank you to the Now crew.
All right, and that's how we end at least this segment for now. You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.